Hi everyone, welcome to the Thrive Not Survive podcast with Coach EO. I'm Coach EO, and today we'll be talking with someone who she makes me laugh. So if I just break into giggles halfway through whatever she's saying, please bear with me. I've already put out the disclaimer. Before we move to today's guest, Thrive Not Survive is a podcast that attempts to contribute to people's well-being by giving you some, what in Nigeria we call it expo, by giving you some insider information as to how people have thrived, even though as humans we must go through challenges. So there's a been there, done that sort of philosophy behind this podcast. And we want to give you the tools to transcend whatever hurdles come your way. We talk a lot about people's triumphs, and we don't really know the stories behind these triumphs and what people had to dig into to become who they are today. And now you get to meet my guests. With me today is, I'm already laughing, she hasn't said anything.
Okay.
Her name is Olajumoke Leniola Akindolire. I got it.
Yes, that's me.
Yeah. I will allow you to introduce yourself. But let me tell you, if I think of anyone who is a professional that should have a comedy show, she has a serious job. But she should be doing stand-up.
Okay.
That's Jumoke. Now tell us the serious part about what you do.
Okay, so see, this is my serious face. Just thought to mention. Okay, so my name is Olajumoke Leniola Akindolire, as you've already said, and so I'm a people development consultant. That's the new dictionary name I'm giving myself now. 9 to 5 HR. Host corporate events, so I have that comedic side. Not that I'm a comedian. Yeah, I bring humor into everything I do because I feel life is hard enough, it's serious enough. Let's just, take it easy and breathe, right? And beyond that, I facilitate trainings. I do leadership consulting, HR consulting. I do a lot of things, actually. And then, of course, my most important job, I'm a mommy of 3 boys. And so, yeah, that is me in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. I don't know why I feel like already. But anyway, we'll talk about
Okay.
we'll talk about all your different roles that you play. When people come and sit with me, I tell them something about them that I think that I've probably never told them. But one of the things that inspired me about you is, I think I was speaking at something and you were emceeing the event. So like 2 years ago. Pretend, yes.
Leap. Yes.
And she got on stage and I had to send a message to the person who had invited me, like, where did you guys get this person from? You go to all these leadership events and the person who comes to, they're serious. But she was talking intelligently, with wit, cracking jokes that were landing properly. And I thought, wait, how did she know this? Because you dropped some things. I'm like, how did she know this? That means then she introduced herself. I quickly went to look her up. And then she told me, oh, you, on stage, I've been stalking you. I'm like, oh yes, I follow you, one other thing. And I saw that we were actually connected on LinkedIn. Then I thought, oh. So from then on, it's like one of the things where you learn a new word and then you start seeing it everywhere. I started seeing you everywhere.
Wow.
No event I will go to that Jumoke is not emceeing and putting one leg up and doing everything. There's a very weird picture. Yes, that picture lives rent free.
You posted it.
I posted it. But the world needed to see.
We're officially not friends anymore, but it's okay.
But yeah, so I really admire that about you, being able to combine that, you know, and reach out to people who you didn't have any airs about you. You know, reaching out to say, oh, I saw you, I follow you, you do. I'm like, this is also a bond now, you know. And I watch you, we became friends like quickly. Then I watch you interacting with other people, and I'm just like, I'm really drawn to people with humility. And it's not just about just false humility, humble pride, or all those kind of things. No. The true humility is where you know that it's not that deep. And I really like it, like you exude that. It's easy to be around you.
Thank you.
Anyway, now that I'm done with the mush.
Okay. Serious stuff.
Yes. Tell us, in a nutshell, about your journey, your career journey.
Okay. I mean, after that, what do I want to say? I'm deeply humbled by and not because I'm saying it back to you, but it's because that's really what I'm about. And I guess when you understand where I'm coming from, number 10 of 10 children.
Oof.
And
One more, and it would have been a complete
football team, right? Yeah, I don't know. There might be one more hanging around out there. We never can tell. There's this joke that we always, by me and my siblings, we always say we never know how many we are until Dad's funeral. I mean, God keep him. He's 80 this year. So, yes, we love him very much, but we are a lot. And so I had to quickly learn how to cope in that setting, be as diplomatic as possible, because everybody had different personalities and we all lived under the same roof. So it was like, yeah, it was eggshells everywhere. You had to find a way to navigate. And so for me, humor was that anchor where I was able to, you know what, I don't take myself too seriously, because growing up I wasn't really taken seriously anyways. So it kind of worked out. But getting into the workplace, I found that it was my way of connecting with people. There's enough stress, there's enough bossing around, there's enough pushing around at work. So why not be that warm ray of sunshine that people can always, you know, on a cold day, just come and warm themselves under. And so for me, providing that warmth was always everything. I didn't start out in HR. I started out in, what did I even do in the beginning? Jesus Christ, this career journey. I've been a PA before.
Okay.
Started out as a PA because, you know, finished youth service. Thought that United Nations was going to come and hug me because I studied international relations.
They don't know what they missed out on.
They did not even contact me at all. I'm still beefing people. Anyway, and so I started out as a PA.
Is the person still alive though? You didn't kill him?
The person I was PAing with. No. He has a thriving family. I think it's the reason I have 3 boys safe, because he had 2 boys at the time.
Okay.
Mr. Tokumbo, God bless you for the blessing. He's PA for a little bit, and then I moved on to Diamond Securities, where I did some HR, did some corporate communications, did some wealth management. You know, it was like 3 jobs in one. But I think that was the place that I got my most important experiences, in terms of when you go to a workplace, you don't necessarily have to do what you were hired to do. Just add value. Because as HR, I would see corporate comms and comment on it, and they're like, oh, okay, so you can also, and even though the salary didn't match the responsibilities, you know, it helped me expand as a person, and I was able to take on a lot more. And I remember my fiance, now husband, used to say, or is the fiance they used to call it, please, the French didn't confuse me. He used to say, it's like an elastic band. You never can tell the capacity until you stretch it. So just keep stretching. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Well, it will not kill you. You'll be fine. And so I find myself everywhere I go taking on multiple roles, and it has helped me accelerate my career journey. So yes, I've worked in consulting, financial services for oil and gas, and then manufacturing. Most recent adventure was manufacturing. And now I am transitioning into social impact resourcing and financing. So that's my career journey.
It's very interesting. So that's your 10 of 10. It makes sense. Where comedy became like an escape or an anchor, it actually makes sense now.
It helped.
Interesting. So it's very interesting. How many brothers in the 10?
Okay, so I have 2 brothers, and there were 8 girls. And mothers, okay, so interesting. My dad got married. He was Muslim. Got married. Got officially divorced. It was rare at the time, and then married my mom.
Okay.
But in between, he always had like one away match. So it was 2 children, 1 away, 2 children, 2 children, 1 away, 2 children. So it was quite consistent.
And they were all living in
of
the same house,
children.
which is really good.
Yeah, so it was only one sibling that stayed in Benin, but we stayed in touch with her. But
Okay.
yeah, we were mostly raised under the same roof.
Good. Are you guys close now?
So maybe not as close as we can be. There's also that age
Yes,
difference
because
that
10 of
always
10 now.
comes into play, right? So I have older siblings that are uncle and auntie type arrangements. So I'm not really tight with them, but
Sure.
our cluster,
Yeah.
the
Closer.
last few, you know, where we are close. And add to that, my mom wanted a boy, but we were 4 girls from her, so I kind of became the default boy in the house. So
So many things are just clicking about you. We'll talk about this offline. But
wow.
so many things are clicking. There are a few things in your story that I can relate with, actually.
Okay.
I was number 4 on one side of the family and number 9 of 9 on the other side.
Oh, okay. I see you
So
there.
number 4 of 8 and number 9 of 9. So somewhere I'm a middle child, somewhere I'm the youngest. It's very
How's that?
interesting.
Okay.
I don't even know how it is. But yeah, siblings above on the 9 of 9. And then a few siblings above and below in the 4 of 8 side. Interesting story. One day I might talk about it, but there's no need for that story, guys. It's not as interesting as it sounds. So Olajumoke, what would you consider the biggest challenge you've had to face? Well, on Thrive Not Survive. So it's challenges we want to talk about. You're still here, so you've triumphed anyway.
Yeah, I'm alive.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, biggest challenge I've had to face in work context.
Anywhere. Because people engage with you and see you. You're a mother, you're a wife, you're a sibling, you are a boss to people. You're starting this your interesting project, which I don't know if you want to talk about it, but it's actually really interesting to me. It's a bold move. It's a lot of work. Power to you.
Yes, there's grace.
But there are many hats that you wear. You're also friend to people. But you've had challenges. You've recently gone through one, so we're talking.
Know, right?
Yeah. So which one will you pick from that has sort of defined how you go through the rest? Maybe we can approach it from there.
Okay. Yes. Okay. How I define how I go through the rest. I think I will have to go back a little bit for this one because the more recent ones are being handled because of who I am becoming. So when I started out at work, being me was hard because I didn't even know who that was. I mean, when you grow up dodging bullets from older ones, you kind of think you know who you are until you're by yourself. And so going into the workplace as me was a case of, so who is that me? And so there was always sometimes there was the playful side, sometimes there's the work side, sometimes there's, so one of the major challenges I faced was just even as silly as it will sound, defining who I am in the context of work.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't clear. My bosses had certain expectations. And again, depending on the type of boss, the mood of the boss, the expectations would shift around. And so I found myself almost like a chameleon type arrangements because I had to keep adapting and changing and figuring out who I need to be in the workplace. But one that stuck with me was when I was just starting out. I had worked my hands to the bones because I was told that, if you work really hard, you get promoted, you will move into spaces that you're supposed to be in, you will do this, you will do that. And I'd been doing that for a couple of years and nothing was happening.
Nothing in terms of?
Nothing in terms of promotion, nothing in terms
Okay.
of career progression. It was like I was stuck and I felt cheated because I was doing the work. I put in the work. I would stay longer than most. I would take on assignments that most people didn't even want. And somebody, one of the bosses at the time I attended the training with another colleague from a different department. And in the middle of that training, we're given a problem to solve. It was an Excel problem to solve. And everybody was like, well, we can't solve it, just solve it for us. And I just kept saying, give me time, give me time, give me time. And when I finally solved it, the colleague actually turned to me and was like, I never knew that you had a really, and he said no offense, but you know when people say no offense, they're about to offend you.
Yeah.
So it was like, no offense, but I never really knew that there was this intellectual side to you. And I was like, after like 2 years of working with you, what do you mean? And he said, yeah, I only see that person, that happy-go-lucky person that just comes out and says hi and moves on, goes back to whatever it is she's doing. And I've never really seen this resilient intellectual side of you. Maybe you should volunteer for more client-facing projects. Maybe we will see it more. And then, like the same day, like God decided to shout at me on the same day. One of the bosses called me and said, you do know that perception is reality. So you need to sell yourself. You need to, your work will speak for itself is a lazy man's way of career growth. You need to be more intentional. You need to speak about your wins. And at this time, I had handled projects for banks. At this time, I had done loads of recruitment in-house, externally, diaspora recruitment self. At this time, I had worked with the MD of Synergos. It's a company that was hired by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for a project in Nigeria. So I had done some high-profile work, but it seemed like I was shouting into an echo chamber. Nobody knew about it. So it was in that moment, that aha moment, that I just felt like, okay, maybe the organization is not cheating you. Maybe you're the one cheating yourself out of these opportunities. And so that kind of formed being more authentic in what I do and having that as my true north every time I went through other challenges, because I knew that if I could get through that and learn that, then I can get through this and more.
This is very interesting. I think there are quite a few people, and before hearing you speak, I would have said that it is mostly an experience that introverted people would have, where you're not really out there, you don't know how to project your work, so you'll be like, oh, my work should speak for me, and all of that. But here you are, extroverted, and you know,
it was a question of what I was projecting.
Thank you. So I just imagined, as you were talking, how many people, introverted, extroverted, that are going through stuff like that, early career, where you're wondering, you don't even have a clue what you're projecting. Because perception is reality means perception is reality to the person perceiving. So whatever they are perceiving you as is what they know you as.
And nobody's asking you whether it's true or not.
Yeah. So if you didn't have this opportunity for the aha moment, you probably would have continued. Then you leave there disgruntled.
Of course.
And you're like, yeah, they're being unfair. And, you know, they're promoting the people who know how to suck up and all of that. And you don't know that
popular
somehow.
Mistake.
Yeah.
I was the one causing my own problems.
This is really interesting. So I've had this type of aha moment. I think I've written about it in one article. Was it Vanguard or Guardian? One time they spotted me as something people. Anyway, and it was one of the conversations, and I talked about how there's somebody we know. She's head of she's transitioned now to COO, of the organization. I don't know if I can call her name here. Hopefully one day we can talk. She can be on this seat. She gave me that aha moment. I used to work at MTN, and I was this nerd, figure it out type person, solving, thinking, everything, grinding. But I wasn't getting the type of recognition that other people were getting whom I thought were less competent. And there was no question about whether they were competent or not, whether I was more brilliant, because everybody would say, oh yes, Elizabeth is more brilliant. If you need this solved, give it to her. When it's time to talk about this solution that everybody knows Elizabeth, they'll give it to someone else to go talk about it to the CEO or to the BT. And that thing used to, I didn't care initially because I'm just here to work, all that kind of thing. And after a while, it starts to be like, sorry, what's going on? Am I a plank or a spoon? Or what am I? Like, why? I can't say this thing. I can speak English. What's happening here? And it started getting me a little bit dissatisfied. Because, you know, when you start to feel used, sort of. Like, they want you to do the work, you do the work, but somebody else gets to project it. And I went to talk to this lady. And she was my boss's boss. Amazing person. Like, yeah, she's one of my milestones in my career as a human being. Wow. She is. I went to meet her. Formidable character. People used to be afraid of her and all of that. And I'm just like, sorry, please, but what's this?
I need an explanation.
Why are you guys treating me? And she said, you're brilliant. We know. We've not seen anybody like you before. But you all this year walking fast, talking fast, you know, just like you don't really care. It's almost like you only care about what you can do with your brain. You're not really concerned about how it's digested by other people. Ooh. Yeah. I didn't understand what it was, but of course I asked her to explain more. In summary, it was your personality that you project. No matter how brilliant you are, other people need to be able to understand it, to digest it, to use it. So communication is not complete unless the person can do something with the message that is given them. So you can be bombarding them with knowledge. When it's time for somebody to dumb it down to their level, communicate well. And please, Elizabeth, this, you know, don't think it's because this other person can speak, you know, phone, and you are stubbornly saying you're not going to do that. That's not it. It's just the packaging. How do you make it more digestible? Hey, I went back. It sent me on a whole journey. I grew up as a tomboy, like really a boy, exactly. You see. So I wasn't really interested in anyway, and I went and started trying to figure out
how to be more digestible.
Yeah, how to be more digestible, because you can't be choking people in the neck all the time. I still like to, you know, do that sometimes, but at least now I know when I'm doing it. Then I didn't know. I couldn't. It was the same me. And I wasn't going to be getting ahead. And I really had my plan. Like, I was very intentional about how long I wanted to be in that organization and what I wanted to do. And I knew that, okay, it won't happen. This expo she gave me, I went and studied, read books, started studying people that I wanted to look like, taking small bits of them,
right,
and retaining my personality. Like mixing it and creating somebody that I wanted, and that's how you have.
Yes, because that's important, not getting lost in trying to be something else.
Yeah. So when you say this, I'm just like, we need to find platforms like this where we can share. Well, that's this platform where we can share. Where we can share. People see the bubbly Olajumoke, and they don't know that at some point that was something of, felt like a disadvantage. They just size you up to that. Like that's how you, that's who you are. Meanwhile, you have brain.
Fluffy.
A fluffy.
Right.
Imagine that. I can't imagine you as fluffy actually. No matter how funny you are, I just know that there's a sharp brain. Because of what you were saying, as that first time I experienced it, I was just like, who is this person? You know, and then she's just a goofball. Like, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But you see, the funny part of this entire conversation is if you ask leaders that I have worked with, they will not believe you. That I have this goofy side. They will not believe
so
you.
you switched.
Because me at work is very... That experience, I think, was what transformed the way I show up at work. So when I show up at work, I'm very, let's get it done. Very cerebral, very, and then only with people I am very close to, then I let my guard down and I show that side of, okay, we can joke or we can play. But at work, nah. They most of them would just be like, nah, it's not possible. That's not Jumoke.
So when they see you on stage throwing one leg like this, they'll think it's like, what? Who is this?
Oh, dear. You're like,
oh, really?
Yeah. So, I mean, there was an event of previous office before this one. And then it was a dinner for directors. It was a send forth for directors. And they were looking for an MC to do the thing. And a friend that I normally just was like, but Jumoke can't do it. And then they looked at me and like,
how? She will kill the vibe.
No, now, it's not. We did not say she's gonna do presentation there. And the girl swore by it like that. Don't worry, you guys will have a great time. Jumoke will. I said, okay. So he paired me with somebody else. And by the time we were done, he was like, you have multiple personalities.
Yes, you do.
It's all good. Don't worry. I know why I do the things I do. Right? There's a method to the madness, but it's good.
This is actually really cool. Like, I'm discovering things about it. So you switched. You have your work personality, and then you have
I have my other work personality.
Yeah,
and then I have
work.
my other sides.
So if you were to describe yourself, what would you describe?
Problem solving, rays of sunshine meets creative catalyst. Yeah, that's it.
I really like this one. We can unpack this thing.
That's it.
We can unpack it. Interesting. I'm enjoying this thing, though. Are you enjoying? How are you?
See, are we still on point? Are we following
what?
Are we in the right place?
What do you mean?
Are we supposed to be here at this point?
Yes, we're here.
Okay, just checking.
Okay, so if there's anything you tell your younger self in your journey, so here's the thing. I want to hear what are the things that have made you succeed? And then what would you tell your younger self to cut to the chase?
So, that one, it's been many things at different stages. And I'll say why. It's because at different points in time in my career, I've had to... So maybe that leads to the first point. Adaptability, just being able to not say... So I'm sorry I do apologize in advance to everybody who feels like they are a certain way. I feel it's an excuse to not change or to not be better.
Why you apologize?
When we say, oh, that's the way I am. It's like, you are not a rock. You are not a fixed asset. You can actually evolve. If you do give it a little bit of effort, you can actually change. So just being able to adapt in different spaces that you find yourself, being able to grow, to learn, to not close your mind to the possibility that you are wrong. You actually are not the Holy Spirit or Jesus Christ. You can be wrong, right? So just being able to learn, just know that growth is a process and I'm work in progress. What has helped me succeed is also knowing that I may not agree with you, but I can respect your opinion.
Yeah.
So being respectful towards people, no matter how big or small, not in the sense of that false humility, but truly, truly seeing people as individuals, as being able to add value. Some of the most interesting advice I've gotten are from cleaners who have worked with these people for a long time. Sometimes I'm talking to a cleaner, how are you? How is work? How's life? And I'm just like, okay, so this person, how are they? What do you feel about this person? And in having that conversation, I'm understanding my stakeholders better, because most people feel cleaners and these lower level employees are invisible.
Yeah.
So they can be their true selves in front of those people. And so sometimes in having those conversations, they're like, and oh God, this thing is not like that. So, if you meet him on a day that you'll be able to, and I'm just like, okay. Now I know how to deal better with you. So, but in showing respect to other people, then you're able to accept help as well.
Yeah.
So now that's another thing I struggled with, being able to ask for help and accept help.
it, yeah.
Because in the workplace, sometimes it's misconstrued as being incompetent.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing, that's why you're asking for help.
Yeah.
Or you don't know what you're doing, that's why you're asking these questions.
Yeah.
But being able to say, my motto is, I will ask you once. Meaning, when I ask you that question once, trust me, I will not come back and ask you that question again, because I will learn from what you say. So it's not I will ask you once and never ask you again from a place of pride, but from a place of I will learn as much as I can. And I'm happy to say I don't know, but the next time you ask me that, the answer will not be the same. So those types of just having that growth mindset to say there really is no destination. So even if I'm the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, there's somebody who has been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, sold the t-shirt, rebranded it, and is doing something else. So there is no point of arrival. And once I started to realize that, it kind of just helped me to continue to grow and to breathe and to not take myself too seriously, because life is amazing. Live it.
I don't even know what to do. Hug you. Pull your hair, snap you. What? I don't know. But yeah, thank you. This is amazing. These are life lessons. And as you talk, I can connect. And just imagine when you were talking about yourself in your early career years of how you were doing everything, and I just thought about the Swiss Army knife employee. That's, sometimes we get into that and we're everything for everyone, and it could tend to become a jack of all trades, master of none. Nobody knows exactly. You don't gain expertise in anything, so nobody knows where to promote you, because at some point you have to pick a path. And you've picked a path anyway. So, but then you talk about growing and having a growth mindset and not being fixed. Knowing that you can make mistakes. In fact, I think you should make mistakes, because you learn from those. But the people who avoid mistakes because they're afraid of making mistakes because of how bad it makes them feel wouldn't grow as quickly as someone who's like, yeah, I made a mistake. What can I learn from this? How do I get there? I make this one mistake. Make, new mistakes only. That's just...
You're allowed to make new mistakes, right?
Mistakes. Right. So the thing you said about, I will ask you the question one time, and on that topic, I wouldn't need to ask you the same question. It's also in the same bucket of just make mistakes, but make new ones every time.
And the thing is, when we succeed, we party, but when we fail, we probe.
Yeah.
Nobody ever really checks into why it succeeded, because you're like, oh, I prepared, I planned, I did it. But when you fail, it's always like, what happened? And it's in that space that you expand, that you learn. So yeah, please feel free to fail forward. But new mistakes only.
New mistakes. So even if you make an old one, but it's okay. Learn, reduce the time that you're making the same mistakes.
Right.
So I really like this. Again, I'm enjoying this. Are you enjoying it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I thought you asked me a jam question. So what would you tell your younger self?
Okay. Evaluating my journey, I would tell my younger self that it's a scripture, but not in the way that many people think about it. It says, I have given to you everything that pertains to life and godliness. So I'm not telling you that I will not tell her that she has everything. I will tell her she needs to focus on the giver of everything. Because the scripture starts with, I have given to you.
The I who gave.
So focus on the one that gave, because that's the source of everything. Whatever it is that you are looking for, chasing, wanting, hoping for, the I who gave in the beginning gave for a purpose. Find that. Stay in that. And that's the only way that you will thrive. Many times I felt like a water lily growing in the desert. Because I was not where I was meant to be. So for me, it was a struggle. I was struggling to survive. So thrive was not even anywhere on the equation. Just even first survive. But if you focus on the I who gave, and he gave everything that pertains to life and then godliness, it means that your life is my life is important to God. And because it is important to God, it's important for me to consistently acknowledge the I that gave, so that he can keep giving. Yes, because my journey has been that of blessings wrapped up in grace, wrapped up in favor, wrapped up in the most unexpected things. And you don't worry, just focus on the I that gave. Because it was in those moments that I went back to the source and I said, what's next? That those doors began to open and the paths became clearer. Many times I get asked, how did you land jobs in multinational companies? How did you? I didn't land though. I just applied, right? But in those moments, I knew when it was him, the I that gave, that was steering me to a place where he had given me the grace for. And in the moments where I was not, I also knew.
Like, guys, who uses analogies like water lily in the desert type of thing? That's how you know the brain is working. But that actually just hit home and sort of took me on, that split second where you're going, struggles abound where you are in the wrong place.
And then from those recent conversations, that I know,
Yeah. I'm inspired by this.
The quote I have is, there's nothing more frustrating than praying for victory in a land where God has not given you. It's not your own. Find where you belong.
Interesting stuff. So unfortunately, we have to close this. I can't keep talking to you.
I know, right? I love it.
But I need you to just look at our viewers and tell the younger ones that are coming up. Give them one critical piece of advice.
Critical advice for young people. Okay, so this one I am going to have to Google it. Just give me like 2 seconds.
No problem.
Let me Google what I'm going to say. Right? But I would say, in a world that is this loud, that is full of so much noise, that is full of so many distractions, there is strength in silence.
There is what?
There is strength in silence. And this I am learning even as I am. So imagine if I'd learned it a lot earlier. It's not everything you do, you shout about. It's like when you have a seed and you plant it. You wait for its time to germinate. if it's a bamboo tree or whatever, it will take 5 years. If it's corn, it will take a few months. If it's yam, it will take root before you start seeing the leaves. So depending on the type of seed or project you're working on, it has its own incubation period. So don't announce it too early, or you might come under pressure. It could be from loved ones who just love you and want to see you succeed. It could be from people who really, really do not want to see you succeed. And it could be from yourself, the pressure that you have put on yourself. Performance anxiety that you now begin to have. So every seed has its incubation period. So you don't have to shout about everything you're doing. You don't have to announce everything you're doing. Sometimes the silence is where growth happens. In fact, most times, silence is where growth happens, is where you receive the strength so that when it's time to really burst through and shine and be great and be amazing, you're already grounded. You have roots. You have what it takes to withstand the sun and not shrivel. So, yeah, there's the strength in silence.
I'm done. I don't even know what to say.
Finished.
Like, what?
Right?
I've never heard it put this way. And it makes so much sense, because if it's a seed, for the seed to, germinate and form root and others in the ground, it's covered. And you only know what type of seed has been put in that ground when it sprouts and when you see
When its time has come.
the same. There's so much depth in that thing to unlock. It's not going to be an easy thing for people to learn. So I wish there's a way that we can explain, and even not just from a religious point of view or from faith, but from just how life and seasons are designed. Just the simple thing. We're living in a live on full blast or something era where everything needs to be there. And when you say this, it would seem like you're saying people should cover their light or their shine. But that's not what this is, guys.
Yes.
We would have more conversations where we unpack this, yeah?
Happy to.
So I'm not even going to ask you guys to say, if you want her back, please put the comment. She'll be back. She's coming back.
Like Terminator, I'll be back.
Okay. Man, it's... yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Excited.
Like, how could I not have? We need to... Thank you for being on the Thrive Not Survive podcast. Olajumoke, Leniola, Akindolire.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Okay.
And for you guys,
Okay.
yeah, it is a wrap. Yeah, you have just experienced some of the people with light in my network, and I'm sharing them with you so that you can take some of their experiences, build on it, and thrive, not survive. See you next time.